Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I wanted to talk about a name from the past. Peter Molyneux is still working in the world of Albion, but not in the way you would expect. And honestly, I'm wondering how he's managing to return, considering the new Fable game that is coming out. I would think that that would be the property of Microsoft at this point, as opposed to something that he could use. But maybe there's some kind of loophole, or the fact that it doesn't have to technically be the same world or something. I don't know. Peter Molyneux debuts new god game, Masters of Albion. It's a community builder that lets you dictate what happens to your people or take control of one of their heroes to directly fight back against monsters. This is on GameSpot and written by Steve Watts. Peter Molyneux has returned to video games and debuted his next project during Gamescom Opening Night Live. The new project, called Masters of Albion, goes back to Molyneux's roots in god games with a few twists. For those of you who maybe don't remember, one of Molyneux's first games was a great game. It's called Black and White. It was a god game where you would play as, obviously, the god of a world, and you had an avatar, a pet. Black and White featured a number of creatures that you could pick from, everything from an ape to a zebra, alphabetically, each with their own different stats and attributes, and how you treated the creature had an extreme effect on how that creature then treated your subjects. So if you beat the creature, were cruel to the creature, didn't praise it at all, then it would become mean and nasty and actually eat your worshippers. Whereas if you constantly petted it and praised it and encouraged it positively, it would help. It was actually a really cool game. I genuinely enjoyed it. I also enjoyed Black and White too. Apparently there was a brief gameplay demonstration that showed the familiar disembodied hand floating over a small medieval-looking built village. Molyneux said you can manage loads of details in your community, right down to what they eat. You can even make them eat rats if you're so inclined. Now, if there's one thing that I do definitely remember about a Peter Molyneux game, is the man would always promise the sky. One of the most famous things about him and his Fable pitch was saying that you could plant an acorn and come back years later and see the tree that had grown. And I don't think they ever actually got around to doing that. But I've always admired his desire to want to give that kind of game, even if he was never quite able to follow through on it. The type of creativity he had is one I can admire, even while being frustrated with his inability to promise realistically. Preparing your village with adequate defense is important because at night you're attacked by monsters. At that point, you can either switch to an over-the-shoulder third-person perspective and fight directly as one of your town's champions, or rain down divine fury on attacking creatures. You can also switch between the two perspectives mid-gameplay. Molyneux showed his champion getting wiped out, and then went back to the drawing board the next day to train them up in the village. Masters of Albion is coming from Molyneux's studio, 22 Cans, which is what it is now, since they sold out to Lionhead, or sold Lionhead out to Microsoft, and then, what Microsoft usually does. It's available to wishlist on Steam, but no release date has been set yet. Molyneux has been in games development for decades, since the days of Atari, and was instrumental in creating the Fable series, as well as strategy god games like Dungeon Keeper and Black and White. In the process, he gained a reputation for bold promises about flexibility of his games. After his studio, Lionhead, was acquired by Microsoft, he stayed with Lionhead for 6 years before leaving to found 22 Cans. During his stage appearance, Molyneux joked about his previous projects, asking, "What the hell was I doing?" regarding his efforts at mobile development. He said that pushed him to go back home to PC and console. So for Masters of Albion, he's looking back at Dungeon Keeper, Black and White, and Fable for ideas that he'd like to push further. He also mentioned he needed to reassemble some of the old team, so he brought back developers from some of those older games to make this one. I'm not gonna lie, that does genuinely have me a little bit excited. On the other hand, it's Molyneux, so at the same time I'm afraid, because God knows that man promised so much and delivered only so much of it. Some of my favorite things are remembering trying to play the Connect game. They had a Fable Connect game that they put out, and trying to play that was hell on earth. You couldn't get the damn cart to move forward. fighting was a pain. Oh my God. But at the same time, it was fun to try. It was good to see someone try to use the Kinect in an interesting way for that kind of genre. And then there was a brief period where they were trying to build an MMO, and I had managed to get in on the beta for a little bit. And that never went anywhere, but that was actually looking pretty good when it got kicked out. And then finally, recently, as in the 22 cans era, they released a game called Godus, or Goddess? I don't know how it's pronounced. Godus, that got pulled, unfortunately, from the Steam store because of some kind of issue with the Amazon stuff. But, and I was honestly wondering just the other day what happened to Peter Molyneux. And so here he is popping up. I find that very, very entertaining. So let's see what happens if I try to check out the game trailer. Let's see if I get in trouble.
This is Masters of Albion. We're a team of 20 people dedicated to making something new, unique, and different. Here we are in the familiar, vast world of Albion, packed with stories, quests, treasures, and monsters.
I'm not gonna lie, I really appreciate that this is in-game footage, and somehow it's really giving me original Fable vibes, and that might sound silly to somebody. I don't know, but it makes me tingly and excited.
This is Oak Ridge. By day, you're tasked with building the town up, gaining resources, and earning money. By night, your town will be attacked by many of Albion's creatures. You can design anything: the food that people eat, the clothes they wear, the weapons they use, the armor they fight with.
I can't believe you're actually building a sandwich. Oh my God, that is what he said, so.
There is a strategy behind every creation. I can even...
He just put a rat in there. Did you see that?
feed them rats.
Ugh.
My town's working hard to make that food. I can help out, or not.
Yeah, that's a very black and white kind of thing, you being able to do that kind of shit.
I can also design, customize, and create all buildings.
Oh God, that's hideous.
Night is coming, the sun is going down, and now my town needs defending against the horrors of Albion. And this is my hero's time to shine. You don't have to play in God mode. At any point you can possess a character and play in third person. My hero is now under my complete control, and now it's time to fight.
Okay, the battle looks a little lackluster. Well, I'd like to see some more controls there.
My hero's getting overwhelmed. Let's switch back to God mode and unleash some real power. Okay, we survived the night. Now, let's design a better weapon for my hero. You can be as silly as you want, but bread swords just won't cut it. This is just a glimpse of Masters of Albion, an open-world God game full of combat, choices, mystery, and story. It's available to wishlist on Steam now.
Okay, well, that does have me genuinely curious. I'm curious about a number of things. First, I'm wondering if you can actually customize your champion. I would hope so. I mean, if I can build a sandwich, I would hope I get to customize my champion. I'm concerned about how complicated the menus will be. I do think that will probably pull a number of people away from it, just because there are people out there who don't like really complicated menus. They want things straightforward and easy, but at the same time, being able to build whatever you want in this kind of game makes me very interested. It seems like he's promising everything he ever promised, or it seems like he's promising too much, but it's Molyneux, so you have to expect that. I would like to see better models here. So I would like to know how far off they are from finishing. Obviously, this isn't everything. This was obviously a test build. So how far off are they from releasing? I don't know. But the announcement's still very interesting, and I'm going to keep my eye on it because, I don't know, there's just something special to me about the way Molyneux proposes a game. He says all the things I like to hear, and I hope he gives me a quarter of them and I'm still okay with it. How dumb is that? Especially in this world where I'm constantly telling people if they're not giving you what you want, don't give them your money. I am willing to still attempt to even trust Peter Molyneux after all of the times he's promised everything and given not even half. Now, I guess that's one of the reasons I'm willing to be so understanding of other people who do the same with whatever game company they love. Maybe it's just the accent, who knows? All that said, are you into God games? I do enjoy them ever since Black and White. I can really get into playing one occasionally. Does this sound exciting to you? Does this sound like nothing to you? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.